everybody, is Crappie Dan with Crappie Now magazine. Talk about September. We're into September now. It's the transition month. It's the month that we get hot temperatures, we get a few cool spells that come through for the first inkling of winter on its way, especially fall. Fall's great crappie fishing. I'm looking forward to it, but September is the transition month, and you can catch a lot of crappie in September, but there'll be several patterns that'll work well for you in September. The ones I'll be using will be a combination of both spider rigging and pulling baits for those big slabs. And some of the ways of doing that for all of you out there across the country won't be that much different. Most of the fish are setting right now at 12 to 14 feet, mostly across the whole country. Down here in the south, they are definitely at 12 to 14, and right now they're mainly around brush piles, laydowns that are near deep water or in deep water. And those fish are really stacked up on these particular pieces of structure. They're also on ledges, deep ledges, and in the early morning we're catching them pulling baits along those ledges, and now in the future we will start getting a lot of fish that will be moving off those ledges and moving up and chasing those shad and feeding up for the winter time. And so in September I'll be doing not only the pulling but also the spider rigging for the brush piles, and then those transitory fish come up to feed, I will then pull baits. Some of the baits I'll use for this will be a combination of subtle baits as well as more action baits. And those kind of baits, what I mean by those is that, as you see here, I've got some baits that are Bobby Garland, I've got some baits that are Roadrunner heads, I've got some hard baits like a Thin Fisher from Johnson, and all of these baits will work either spider rigging or pulling. When I'm pulling, as you can see on this particular rod and reel that I have back here, I've got a Roadrunner and Bobby Garland head on this one, and I've got a stroller by Bobby Garland on the BG head. I will also use the Roadrunners that you see here that I've tied up in the 1/8 ounce and bigger to pull on my planer boards, as well as just pulling baits out of the back end of the boat. In September, use this combination of baits along with some of the new colors by Bobby Garland that are out right now, and you can't go wrong. You'll catch a lot of fish out there, and you'll catch some big slabs. Stay tuned through September. I'll be posting some pictures up on Crappie Now and Crappie Dan and Crappie Country with my partner Garrett Steele, and we'll talk about the transitory part of the month and how we'll be catching them in crankbaits later in the month on some of the lakes in the south. Until next time, go out and catch some fish in September. They're going to be biting.